Hey, what's good, you guys? Peek out here in Singapore. It's bright and early this morning. I started off with a webinar, trying to help out and join in the conversation to, you know, give my 2 cents because I was asked for it. That was different. Um, but I quickly realized that because it's based on her experience, I can't really add into much. The logic and the organization of the way she wants to put out her course, if I say anything, it changes her logic. So I'm just going to let it be. So I told her, look, you've got an amazing product here. I'm proud that you're actually offering this, but there's not much I can actually add to your conversation. I can't give you more than you already have. You've got it well thought out. So I just left it at that. But then it got me thinking. And there are so many things that I do have a lot of experience in, and so many things that I don't. I I know anxiety. I know depression, but I don't know it the way you know it. My experience is very different. So for me, it's more like, and I didn't realize this until recently when I spoke with my good friend Tomasa, who is a shaman. She told me, she basically explained this pain that I tend to wake up with because it manifests inside my body. This pain that I tend to wake up with, which feels like a vice grip around my midsection, is actually a physical panic attack. And to be very honest, I've had this feeling on and off for the last 20 years. And I didn't realize what it was until she said so, but I did realize that it was something, to do with me being worried about what's going on in my life. So I kind of am able to figure that out, but that doesn't mean that I'm not so panicked that I can't sit up out of bed until I actually think about what's going on with my body, until I acknowledge the pain and then think about, okay, what is it that I'm freaking out about right now, so that I can slowly get myself out of bed. And it's not like it goes away immediately. Getting up, it still aches and it still makes me feel uncomfortable, and there is pain involved. But now that I know what it is, it's my way of doing things. What works for me may not work for you. So with that being said, I just left the conference call because I didn't want to waste anyone's time either. um, so I let that go. But then I got to thinking about what would happen if we were taken seriously. What would happen if people took the time to actually really listen to what you were saying, how you were saying it, give you another perspective, basically just love you. And it just so happens that Thomas Edison's story came to life. Um, I was watching, I wasn't watching, I was reading through a post yesterday, and when I'm on the bus with my daughter, we tend to scroll through Instagram, mostly looking for art videos, other ways to draw, other ways to do things, create things that would be really cool. We end up watching Dan Rue videos sometimes because he's just, dancing Dan is kind of cool. So just scrolling through the feed, and I just happened to come across this post that was like a bunch of slides that explained Thomas Edison's life. And very short version, basically, Thomas Edison went to school. He came home with a note one day that he was told, do not read it, send it straight to your mother so she can read it. And the mother had read the note, and she read it out loud because obviously, I guess, Thomas Edison couldn't read. So he said, Mom, I was told I couldn't give it to anyone but you. You need to read it. Would you mind reading it out loud? And she did. And she looked him straight in the face and read the following words from the piece of paper, basically. So it said that your son is a genius, and the school is too small, and the teachers are not well equipped to teach him the way he needs to be taught. Would you kindly teach him going forward? And so Thomas Edison thought nothing of it, and the mother set about to teach him the rest of his life. And of course, Thomas Edison, father of the light bulb, very, very brilliant man, and basically, was loved into his genius. Well, when his mother finally passed, I mean, she taught him all her life. When his mother finally passed, he was going through her belongings and actually came across a note, um, which I'm guessing maybe there was an insignia from the school or something, because he recognized what it was, and he went back to read it because, feeling nostalgic, he wanted to go back through that note to see where it all started. And what he read brought him to tears. What he read on the note was not what his mother had said out loud. His mother had actually changed the verbiage for his benefit, but the note basically said that your son is mentally deficient. He is not welcome at the school anymore. He has been expelled. It's very simple. Like, he's not good enough, he doesn't fit in here, he's been kicked out. And what dawned on him in that moment was the fact that his mother saw an opportunity and rose to the occasion and loved her son into the genius that he was. So basically, what he ended up saying at her eulogy was the fact that, I mean, it's not verbatim, obviously, I have no idea what they actually said, but something to the effect of, um, my mother took a mentally deficient child and loved him into being a genius. And I thought that was brilliant. I thought that was, wow, that's really, really the power of love right there. And I thought about it some more. So with the idea of this, this webinar and anxiety and how to teach people how to manage their own anxiety so they don't have to be dosed up with medicine and tons of therapy, there are things that you could do for yourself if you can slowly work your way around the many thoughts that pop up when you are anxious. And I thought, wow, what if people could do this for each other? What if everybody could put aside their own needs and wants for a moment and be there for another person? What if everyone could do that for one person every day? And maybe it's the same person, maybe it's a different person every day, but if you could show up like that, what would the world look like? If someone were to have consoled Hitler, and I'm really simplifying this, if someone were to have consoled Hitler when he didn't get into that Jewish art school, could we have avoided World War II? I'm thinking out loud, right? Could we have avoided some of the biggest calamities of the planet if someone were to have nurtured some of these very angry people that are responsible for these shootings, who feel like there's no other way to prove a point than to resort to violence? If someone could have loved them and held them and shown them that they were special, that they were important, that there was a better way to deal with the people around them and their troubles, their paranoia, their struggles with anger, their ego, could we have avoided a lot of these things? Case in point, we've been watching a lot of Once Upon a Time, and I've been watching a lot of the originals. And yes, I watch a lot of TV, but it's not to say that I want to numb out and I want to just, sit and vegetate. It's because I'm actually watching the dynamics between all these characters, because this is my work. This is what I do. And in Once Upon a Time, obviously the bad guy is Hook, right? But the way he goes about his interactions with Emma Swan, with Prince Charming, with the evil queen, he does have a lot of good in him. But sometimes when he feels threatened, his ego rears its head, and suddenly it's like, oh no, you will not hurt me, I will fire back first. You cannot take from me, I will fire back first. And if you look at it, that's the same way Rumpelstiltskin reacts. It's the same way that Regina, the evil queen, reacts, because at some point she kind of softens up and does allow herself to let Robin Hood in. And the way that Rumpelstiltskin is when Belle is around is very, very different than when he is around, for example, Peter Pan. The fact that Hook is falling in love with Emma Swan, that's very real. He really is trying to do the best he possibly can to show Emma that he's not all that everyone says he is. He's more than that. Let's switch to the originals. The fact that Elijah is such a do-good brother, but he has trouble as well committing to people, to let people in, into his inner circle, because he's so dedicated to the love he has for his brother and his sister. Saving Klaus is all he really cares about. And in order to save Klaus, he knows he has to give up on certain aspects of life, because it tends to make Klaus feel like he's not important enough. And even Klaus, as angry as he gets and as quick as he is to resort to violence and just kind of get rid of his problems, like literally get rid of his problems, when he is around Camille, he's a different person. He realizes that there is an error in his ways, and he allows her to talk to him any kind of way because he respects her. he sees something about her that is actually loving, even though she tells him off a lot. And he realizes there are many of his faults that cause the problems that are around him. So all of these people are very, very human characters. And I wonder if everyone given a chance to be heard and respected could become more loving themselves. They say in order to become interesting, you need to first be interested. In order to become more loved, you need to be loving first. It's something that Regina has to really, really struggle with, because she likes to force people to do things, not realizing that she doesn't earn it if she forces in the meantime. So a shift in the way you see the world, a difference between ruling with your head only versus ruling with your heart only. You need a combination of the two. There needs to be a balance. There needs to be emotional intelligence. Snow White is a really good example of that. For her to be able to feel the anger that she does against Regina, and while she wants to retaliate, she knows she can't, because she knows that there is a part of Regina that is very, very, very hurt. And so she reacts in every situation possible. Whereas Snow, knowing that about her, does not hold it against her, but she tries her level best to make sure that she gives Regina the benefit of the doubt. She does unto Regina as she would love to have done unto her. She gives her a second chance. She gives her the opportunity to do better, to know better. She speaks her mind. She does it as lovingly and as kindly as possible. And after that, she can't force. She has to allow the person to make the decision for herself. I think it's really, really important to allow people to be who they are, but in a loving and supportive manner. And where you do see something that is wrong, that you think is destructive or selfish, it is within your right to say, hey, there's another way to do this. If you go about it this way, you're going to drive people away. Whereas if you looked at it this way instead, you may be able to get people to respect your opinion and take you seriously, and then you can still get what you want, possibly. This is the goal of my business. This is the goal of me in general. This is who I am at my core. I want people to know that there is another way. You don't have to force. You don't have to yell and scream to get what you want. You don't have to give people ultimatums. I mean, it's real easy, right? I could give you the choice that I want you to take and something that's worse than that. And then, of course, it's easy. I could make a deal with you and say, you either do this or that, or I kick you out. It could be that I take someone hostage and say, you have to do this or else. But guess what? Whenever you do any one of those things, you create a repercussion. You create a situation where that person, once they're out from under your thumb, they're going to do something to get back at you. So you're creating more drama for yourself. You're creating more karma. Is that really worth it? Is that what you want in the end? No, obviously not. What you want is for people to take you into consideration, to notice you, to take you seriously, to care about you so that they include you in their decisions. But how does that happen? In order to be loved, you need to first be loving. And some people don't know how to do that. Some people don't know because they've never seen it. Some people don't know because they've only seen people take things by force. They haven't seen anyone who has earned the respect of people around them, so that when they do ask, they're never denied. It seems like they're never denied. Yeah? So I want you to think about that for a little bit. Thomas Edison's story tells me so much about what is possible if you have the right people dedicated to your success. And that's not to say that she was dedicated because that was the only thing she had in the world to do. Is because she realized the importance of giving her son the opportunity to grow into his genius. She realized that her son was a genius. Most mothers think their kids are geniuses, right? But if you don't give them the opportunity to grow and flourish, thinking that they are a genius, they will never reach their potential. They will never know what it's like to actually transcend what everyone else's expectations of them are. And that's another important distinction. You tend to meet the expectations of the people around you. That's part of the reason that we make sure that we control the circle our circle of people that we listen to. If we are around a bunch of people that don't expect anything from their own lives, couldn't care less what you do with your life, what is the expectation for you? Just exist, that's enough. So would you really want to push forward for more? Of course not. Why? What need is there? Your people are comfortable, so of course you can be comfortable too, doing the bare minimum, if that. But let's say you have a bunch of people around you that are hell-bent on making a difference in this world, who show up every day intentionally to change what is with what they know is possible. So then when you start getting around those kinds of people, you can't sit still and watch TV all day long. You have other things you really need to do. You have things you want to accomplish in this world. You rise to the occasion. And isn't that the whole point? Level up every time. Once you get to the level of the people that are in your circle, chances are you'll keep that circle because they continue to level up as well, or you will drop some people and pick up some new ones to get to the next circle, the next level of success, the next level of accomplishment. Bottom line, you control your success. It starts with you. Your environment helps, nurture versus nature, all of that. But how you feel about yourself is really important too. It's a little disjointed today. I hope it really makes sense, but I hope you consider Thomas Edison's story. Brilliant man. Did not let failure stop him. He is the epitome of fail until you succeed. Yeah. But why is that? What was it that his mom really taught him? I hope you consider it. And I hope that one day you learn who your circle is and you realize that you have control over it. And you know for a fact that if this is not what you want for the rest of your life, that there are people out there ready and willing to help you level up. You just got to go out and find them. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And they could be from the unlikeliest of places. My circle right now, made up of people I've never met in real life. The people I hang around with at home, not all of them believe in my success, not all of them believe in the work I'm doing. But they've decided not to hold me down over it either, though. And I appreciate that. I thank God for the small mercies. I love you guys. I hope this helped. I'll catch you tomorrow.